Hi everyone, I'm Jodi Barrows with the Square in a Square, and I'm so excited to introduce a brand new little triangle unit. It's option 40, the quarter square triangles. Now before we jump into showing you how easy it is to make this new option 40, I want to tell you quickly about the products of the Square in a Square. This is the Square in a Square book, Volume 1, and it has all of the square options, so that means everything we do that starts out with a square in the middle, and that goes from option 1 through 17, and it has the charts so that you know how to make any size that you need for any quilt design. Then the other book is Volume 2, and that's Diamonds by the Square, and it goes from options 18 to option 39, and those are the units that start out with a diamond in the middle. Now our brand new option 40 will be an e-pattern download that you can get off of the website, and the one ruler, the Square in a Square ruler that we've had for 30 years now, is the same ruler that you need to make the new option 40. My idea all those years ago was to make one tool that continues to grow in the ability of what it can make. And now, almost 30 years later, we have the brand new option 40, the quarter square triangle unit. So let's look down here at our table and let's get cutting and seeing how easy it is to make the quarter square triangle unit. In the video today, I'm going to show you a couple of different color combos. We're going to talk about what you get when you have all four sides of the basic square that are the same color, what happens when you have two colors on your basic square, and then what happens when all four sides are a different color. So let's get started with the easiest one, and that's all four colors the same. So if you know how to do the Square in a Square, we're going to start out doing option 4. With option 4, we do the two-step trim, and we do that on all four corners. So just put the 90 right in the tip, lines over the seam, grid line through the point, and see how that leaves 1/4 of an inch? But for the half square triangles and the quarter squares, we want to step it over 2. We call it the two-step because you're stepping over or sliding over 2 lines. Tip of the line in the tip of the square, black line over the seam, and your grid line goes right through that point. So this is like an option 4 at this time. And with the option 4, you would get half square triangles, 2 triangles in a square. But we're going to do just a little bit more to it, and we're going to get the 4 triangles. Now as I trim and go around, I'm continuing to trim right up to the tip, line it up through the grid, but now I have to look where I've already cut to make sure that my block is staying nice and square and true. So I'm looking on all the sides, making sure it's staying square and that I have a sharp trim right up to the tip. Now normally you would come in here and cut this direction and this direction, and you would get 4 half square triangles. But for the new option 40, we're going to cut tip to tip. And I will look at my grid lines to make sure I'm staying square. Now in the E pattern, you're going to have the directions on one page that shows you all of this right here. And then the next page will have your charts, so you know what size of center square to start with and what size of strips, so when you get completed, your unit turns out to be whatever size it is that you're looking for in your pattern. So here you can see how I've just cut tip to tip on those outside edges. And at this point, it looks like this. Now remember, with the Square in a Square system, all of our trimming, the options are smart. It knows exactly where those points and seam allowances need to be. So don't get worried. Everything's going to be there just the way we want it. So now what we want to do is we want to cut from that inside tip to that outside one right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just putting one of the grid lines on the ruler across the outside edge, and I'm making it go right through those points. So I'm going to trim it like this, just that one. Then I'm going to come up here and do the next one. And the other 2. So here's my grid line, keeping it nice and straight, tip to tip. And now I'm going to concentrate on the bottom one. And for those of you that started working on your option overview book, this is your option 40 video so that you can make your units and put them right into your book, option 40. Okay, so this is what it looks like, just like that. So in your directions, it talks about a right side and a left side. So let's just kind of turn these like this. And it says, take a right side, and put them together. Sew them together. So we're going to sew it right down there, and there is your quarter square triangle. And let's look here. See how those now go together. And you're going to have 4 units. That one, we're going to set him aside. So let's flip them over. I'm going to take a right side and put those together. And a left and put those. So from one square with all 4 sides the same color, I'm getting 4 quarter square triangle units. Now, when you get this little seam sewn together, so see how your seams are already pressed so that they just nestle together, and you're just going to sew right through there just like that. And when you open them up, you're going to have your quarter square triangle unit. Now, you're going to have these little dog ears on the corner. So if you have the mini square in a square ruler, go to that little corner where we have those little measurements for that little square, and look how you can put the line right through there. You can line it up, and you can just perfectly trim it up to the size you need. If you need it to be and with these markings on the mini square and a square ruler, see how you can come in here and make it the perfect size that you need it to be. And I'm just lining it up. And there is my quarter square triangle unit, just like that. And you're going to get 4 of these out of one basic square. So now let's look at a different color combo. So here is a 2-color combo. So let's go in and do our trimming. Put the 90 in there, 2-step it over, line it up through that point, and I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. These are big. I'm going to save these and sew those onto another unit. See, you can put anything in the middle and sew those on the side, and then come in and trim them up, and you'll have a new unit, a new square if you wanted to do that. So there's the 90, 2-step it over, trim it sharp right up to that tip. Now, as I'm going around, I'm making sure that it's staying nice and neat and square on the outside edges. So now we'll come back in here and trim tip to tip. So see, the sewing and the trimming is the same. What we're concentrating on this time is what happens when you put different colors on the outside edges of your center square when you're sewing your basic square. So the square and a square system, each option you just kind of progress on. So here's what it looks like. And now we're going to come in here and just cut. I'm lining it up, going right through those points. And I'm doing that one. And then I'm going to come up here and do this top one. So here it is lining up. I'm going to go right through those points. See, you don't have to move everything around on your table. You can just jump right in. So I'm lining a grid line up. I'm going right through those points. So 4 steps. And you've got your quarter square triangle units. So I'm lining it up. We're going to cut right through those. Okay, so let's see what we get. Let's turn them all around so that their nose is up. And let's look at what we're getting. Okay, so if I take a right side and a right side, there you go. I can take the left and the left. And see how I'm going to get, whoops, didn't grab the other unit. So here I'm getting my 4 units, but I have 2 colors in there instead of all of these the same. Still 4 units, all the same, but 2 colors. So let's just set that one up there and that one right there. And let's do it for the 4 colors. Let's see what happens with 4 colors. So all of our trimming is the same. Option 4, right up to the tip of the basic square. This big square under here is called the basic square. Once you start trimming it, you're going to get different triangle units. Now we have 40 triangle units, all with this one ruler, all with the square and a square system. So now see, if we were going to do option 4 half square triangles, we'd cut and see how we'd get the 4 different half square triangles. But for option 40, we're going to cut tip to tip. So the first step is trim right up to the tip. The next step is to cut in half on those outside points. The third step is to come in here and cut in half again. Then you're going to sew them together and get your half square triangles. Okay, so let's turn these so their noses or the center squares are up so that you can always see your right, left, right, left. Okay, so let's take a right and let's put that together. Let's take a right and put that one together. And then the left and the left. We'll turn it so at least these colors are the same. The left and the left. So if you're going to put, 4 different colors on the side of your basic square, look how you get 4 different quarter square triangle units. So this is the option 40, the brand new baby of the square and a square system. And you'll be able to download a link where you can print the e-pattern, and it will have your first page will be a cover page. Your next page will be how to do all of this cutting and trimming like you saw me do here. And the last page will have the charts on it and the information about color placement so that you can make beautiful, perfect quarter square triangle units any size for any quilt that you desire. Thanks for using the Square and Square, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I forgot. I have a bonus for you. I want to show you a couple of quilts that have the quarter square triangle units in them. So look at these right here behind me. In this one here, you can see that beautiful quarter square triangle right there in the center of the quilt. But we were kind of sneaky when we put this one together. We just used option 1, square and a square. So here is the red option 1. Here is a gold option 1, a blue, and a green. And when you sew the 4 of those option 1s together, what do you get? You've got quarter square triangles. So if you're putting a quilt together like this, it's actually easier just to use option 1 and not use the option 40 quarter square triangle units. This one you can find in the Quick and Easy book that comes with your Square and a Square ruler. Now over here on this one, this is a pattern that comes in the book that comes with the 9-patch ruler. And I want you to look right here. Do you see that? That is a 9-patch, and we put the strips on the side for the basic square, and we just sew those in rows. And when the rows go together, look what happens. You get that great interaction of the quarter square triangle unit. But you don't have to do the option 40 quarter square triangle unit. Just do the 9-patch in the middle, and this is what we call option 5, put anything in the middle. Now on this one down here on the table, this one is actually one of the quilts that comes in our Diamond by the Square book. And this is option 21. So let's look at the quilt. And look at these great little option 40s in here. And there's the big ones there. So you would look at this and think, oh, this could be an option 7 square and a square with option 40 quarter squares. And this could be the option 40 with the option 7 in this row. But that's not how we put this quilt together. This one we did option 21. So look right here just at this block. You see the diamond in the middle, we sew around it. And then we sew around it again, and that is our square unit, our block. This is option 21. And there's another one, and another one, and another one, and you just sew those together in a row. So let's go to our diamonds book, and let's look at option 21. So here you can see how we start out with our diamond in the middle and trim it up, sew around it again, trim it up, sew around it again, trim it up. So you can sew around it as many times as you want. And in our quilt here, we just did 2 times. Here's the first time that we sew around and trim, and the second time. And then this whole square is just this again and again, and just sew it in rows. And I love the quilt. I love the beauty of it and how intricate it looks, all the different design possibilities that are going on with the color. So you can see how the square and a square is so versatile, how one tool, one ruler makes every triangle unit and every quilt that you want to make. I really hope you'll jump in and start learning the square and a square and watch and see the beauty and the ease of all of these quilts come together just like magic before your very eyes.